Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into 15 essential English phrases that will instantly boost your fluency. Learning individual words is great, but understanding phrases is where real communication happens. These phrases are used by native speakers every day, and knowing them will help you sound more natural and confident. Let's get started. Phrase 1. To get the hang of. Our first phrase is to get the hang of. This means to learn how to do something, especially something that's a bit tricky. For example, it took me a while to get the hang of driving on the left side of the road. Or, once you get the hang of this software, it's really easy to use. Notice the structure. To get the hang of. Play the thing you're learning. Practice saying it aloud. To get the hang of. Now, think of something you had to get the hang of and say it in a sentence. Phrase 2. To cut to the chase. Next up, to cut to the chase. This means to get to the point quickly without wasting time on unnecessary details. Imagine you're in a meeting and you want to skip the small talk. You might say, let's cut to the chase and discuss the main issue. Or, I don't have much time, so I'll cut to the chase. We need to increase sales. Repeat after me. To cut to the chase. When was the last time you wanted someone to cut to the chase? Phrase 3. To be on the same page. This phrase, to be on the same page, means to have the same understanding or agreement about something. If you and your colleagues agree on a project's goals, you're on the same page. For example, before we start, let's make sure we're all on the same page about the deadline. Or, it's important that parents and teachers are on the same page regarding a child's education. Practice. To be on the same page. Have you been on the same page with someone recently? Phrase 4. To take something with a grain of salt. This one's interesting. To take something with a grain of salt. It means to not completely believe something because it might not be true. For example, you should take his advice with a grain of salt. He's not always reliable. Or, I take the news reports with a grain of salt. They're often exaggerated. Repeat. To take something with a grain of salt. Is there something you always take with a grain of salt? Phrase 5. To be in the loop. To be in the loop means to be kept informed about something. If you want to know what's happening, you want to be in the loop. For example, please keep me in the loop about the project's progress. Or, I wasn't in the loop about the meeting cancellation. Practice. To be in the loop. Who do you need to be in the loop with? Phrase 6. To get out of hand. To get out of hand means to become uncontrollable. If a situation is getting out of hand, it's becoming difficult to manage. For example, the party got out of hand and the neighbors called the police. Or, the children's behavior is getting out of hand. We need to set some rules. Repeat. To get out of hand. Has anything gotten out of hand lately? Phrase 7. To make a long story short. To make a long story short means to summarize a long story quickly. It's useful when you want to give the main points without going into too much detail. For example, to make a long story short, we decided to postpone the event. Or, I could tell you the whole story, but to make a long story short, I lost my keys. Practice. To make a long story short. Can you make a long story short about your day? Phrase 8. To be up in the air. To be up in the air means to be undecided or uncertain. If something is up in the air, it's not yet decided. For example, our travel plans are still up in the air. We haven't booked anything yet. Or, The company's future is up in the air due to the economic situation. Repeat, to be up in the air. Is there something up in the air in your life right now? Phrase 9, to break the ice. Phrase number 9 is to break the ice. This phrase means to make people feel more comfortable in a social situation, especially when they first meet. It's about easing tension and creating a friendly atmosphere. Think of ice as a barrier, and breaking it means removing that barrier. For example, he told a funny joke to break the ice at the meeting, or we played a quick game to break the ice before the presentation. You can break the ice by asking a simple question, telling a joke, or starting a light conversation. Practice to break the ice. What's your favorite way to break the ice? Phrase 10, to call it a day. Next, we have to call it a day. This means to stop working or doing something for the rest of the day. It's a way of saying you're finished. For example, we've been working hard all morning. Let's call it a day and go for lunch. Or, after finishing the report, I decided to call it a day and relax. You can use this phrase at work, school, or even when you're doing a hobby. Repeat, to call it a day. When was the last time you called it a day? Phrase 11, to go the extra mile. To go the extra mile means to do more than what is expected, to put in extra effort. It's about exceeding expectations and showing dedication. For example, our team went the extra mile to finish the project ahead of schedule. Or, she went the extra mile to help her students understand the difficult concept. This phrase is often used in work and customer service contexts. Practice, to go the extra mile. When have you gone the extra mile for someone? Phrase 12, to be on cloud 9. To be on cloud 9 means to be extremely happy or joyful. It's a way of expressing intense happiness. Imagine floating on a cloud. That's the feeling. For example, she was on cloud 9 after getting engaged. Or, they were on cloud 9 after winning the championship. This phrase is used to describe very positive emotions. Repeat, to be on cloud 9. When were you last on cloud 9? Phrase 13, to miss the boat. To miss the boat means to miss an opportunity. It's like missing a literal boat that's sailing away. For example, I missed the boat on buying those stocks. Now they're too expensive. Or, he missed the boat on applying for the scholarship. The deadline has passed. This phrase is used when an opportunity is lost. Practice, to miss the boat. Have you ever missed the boat on something? Phrase 14, to put all your eggs in one basket. To put all your eggs in one basket means to risk everything on a single venture. It's a warning against taking too much risk. For example, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversify your investments. Or, it's risky to put all your eggs in one basket when starting a business. This phrase is often used in financial and business contexts. Repeat, to put all your eggs in one basket. When is it wise to not put all your eggs in one basket? Phrase 15, to hear it through the grapevine. To hear it through the grapevine means to hear a rumor or piece of information from an informal source, not from an official one. It's like information spreading through a network of people. For example, I heard through the grapevine that the company is downsizing. Or she heard through the grapevine that he was getting married. This phrase implies that the information may or may not be true. Practice, to hear it through the grapevine. What have you heard through the grapevine lately? Remember, practice is key. Try to use these phrases in your daily conversations. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, learning phrases makes a huge difference in your fluency. Keep practicing, and you'll be speaking English confidently in no time. See you in the next video.